Hello, hello, good morning. Happy Monday. I hope that you guys are well. Welcome to Monday Magic and Marketing. I'm Christina Quick. I'm your host. I'm just going to get us pinned to the right location and we'll get started. I have a story for you guys actually this morning, and it's really fun and interesting because the universe always sends me the best real life situations and examples, like when I'm about to talk about something. Like it never fails if you notice during this whole season 1 of this podcast, I've every week I've had like a real life example to talk about, and it's just like the universe is so good at doing this. And so and it's a really interesting idea as well because good morning, good morning. It's a really interesting idea because it ties in exactly with what we are going to be talking about today. And today we are going to be talking about how to solve real world issues, solving real world problems with our magic and our marketing. Okay, good morning. Hi, Richard. Hello. Hi, good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, this is your first live with us. Awesome. Well, welcome. My name's Christina Quick. I'm also known as the Tarot Biz Mentor. I'm down here on my phone getting it tagged. If you're like, why is she not looking at me? I'm down here getting things tagged. Give me just a second before my squirrel brain. Hi, Anita. Good to see you. Anita, aren't you in the psychic hotline school? Maybe not. Your name just sounds really familiar. Hi, Joanne. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, Dar, everyone's here. Okay, okay, we can start. So I'm getting ready to start getting into doing like fairs, parties, gigs, things like that, doing tarot readings and other like numerology, astrology readings and things like that. Hi, Sandra. Good morning. Good to see you. And so oh, you're not? Okay, well, welcome. Maybe you're just someone that I recognize your soul. Maybe you're supposed to be here and it just feels like you're in the right place. So, and I have not done so right before the whole pandemic hit. This was like 2019. That was like the last time I did fairs and parties. So it's been a minute. They were a really big part of my brand for a long time. And if you've only met me during the pandemic era, good morning. Good to see you. Oh, great. Good. I'm glad you found my YouTube. Is there a YouTube link for this video? Yes, there will be after I get it uploaded. So yes, there will be. As soon as I get it uploaded, there will be. Oh, and I need to talk about YouTube too. So I'm trying to make myself a mental note because when we have the the next series that we're going to be doing is going to be on the tarot cards for spiritual life coaching. So anyway, so hi Kirsten. And so I haven't done any fairs or parties, so it's been a minute. Hi, Ivy. Good to see you. And so, if you've met me within the last few years, you might not be aware that I still work as a tarot reader and still have fun in that regards. But I hadn't done it since COVID because I had been so busy with the influx of people looking for new like work from home opportunities. It was just during COVID, I was so busy getting everybody trained and figuring out how to get on the psychic hotlines or how to start an Etsy shop and things like of that nature. So I really didn't have time to do fairs and parties and things like that over the last couple of years. And so I decided this is the year. And then, it's really funny how the universe works too, because I still have been on the psychic hotlines even after all this time. I've been on the psychic hotline since like 2000, I think 11 is when I applied for my first psychic hotline, which was Keen. And then I worked at, different other ones. I've worked at Purple Ocean. I've worked at Aranum. I've worked on Bitline. I've worked on Kasamba. I've worked on not on Everclear, but Zodiac Psychics and Spiritum, and there's probably 10 more that I've that have, come and gone since then that I've forgotten about. So I've worked on a lot of those. And so and I also run the Psychic Hotline School, which is a free group where you can go into and you can get basically my list, my document that has like a whole bunch of different psychic hotlines that I recommend that other people tend to recommend that they're psychic hotlines where you're gonna get paid and stuff like that. Oh, Medium Chat. Yeah. So join Psychic Hotline School. It's one of my free groups. You can come in and there's going to be posts about mediumship, 'cause I know we've talked about it before in there. And so I had I had basically stopped working on all of the psychic hotlines except for Keen, because Keen was my first one, and I like having it as an option just in case, like, you want extra money for like Christmas, or you want to work a couple weekends and make, a couple $100 and go, pay for like a trip or something like that. So it was really nice to just have that, like, okay, I'm not doing anything, and maybe I'm in the mood to do some psychic readings, and then I log in and then, make a couple $100 and then you log out. And it's just a nice way to kind of get in there and make some money and get out. And, you don't have to do too much. It's quote unquote easy work, right? And I recently, just in the last couple days, like last week, got an email stating that basically I was let go from Keen. And the only reason why I can believe that that happened is because of who I am and because I run the group. And it's because, everyone will, and I haven't said any, no, don't, yeah. It's actually a blessing because now I'm free. I'm a free agent, right? And y'all have been asking me for years to set up some kind of psychic hotline, or to set up some kind of like psychic directory or something like that. So 2024, this is the year that I'm going to start looking into that kind of seriously. I really don't want to do a psychic hotline, but I maybe want to do something kind of like a little bit different, something that's like a psychic hotline directory, but then also kind of like a psychic hotline. So maybe something that's like kind of in the mix where y'all have more agency over yourself. I have more agency over myself, and we're less like dependent on one another for, profit and things like that, where I can spend, because really how I would want to spend my time is writing blog posts, doing networking events, that kind of stuff. I don't really want to do like the technical support and messing around with PayPal and all, that kind of stuff. So we'll just see. We'll see what comes up from it. But anyways, so I had Keen, and Keen was like I don't have to go out and do anything. I don't have to go out and do tarot parties. I don't have to go out and do all that kind of stuff. I can just kind of stay at home in my pajamas and make money. And that was great for so long. It was great. But now I'm starting to get back into doing parties, and it just, I already had these gigs already scheduled. Like I have a party on Friday, and then I have another couple parties. I have one in June. I have one in September already. So I have a couple of them already, and then once spring comes around, everybody's going to be wanting to schedule parties and stuff. So it's going to get busy pretty fast. And so I was like, I have so much. I have the school, I have my YouTube, I have my in person. I'm doing horticulture, and I'm learning how to grow plant medicines and things like that. Like that's my new thing that really takes up a lot of my free time. Right. And then I have the psychic hotlines, and now I'm doing these fairs and parties. Like there's a lot going on. And I'm like, in my heart of hearts, I was like, something's got to give, right? Like I can do all of this stuff, but and it's one of those things where I tell you guys to do all this time that, if you've got 10 to 20 different like ways of like running your business, you're never going to be able to run your business very well. You're not going to be able to run one of those avenues really well. So it's always better to kind of condense down and focus on maybe a couple core, 3 to 5 core things, rather than having, 10 different things that you're doing, right? And as far as they are like income generating, right? And so, I'm getting ready for this party. So here's a story where I was talking about like the universe, and I was having this kind of meltdown last week. Because let me just tell you what was going on. So I'm trying to get ready for this party, and shame on me for waiting until the week before to get all of this done, right? Like there's probably the big lesson in all of this I've had since like last November to get this stuff done. But I finally got like my sign-in sheet. I got my um flyers. I've got my worksheet that I'm going to give people. I went through and made all these bags. So they're basically like my business card. And then it talks a little bit about me on the back, and then it has an invitation to join my school if you're interested in learning how to become a tarot reader, or learning how to start a tarot reading business. And then it has a little bag, and it has a little crystal in it. And then I was going to go get like some peppermints or something and put it in there. So anyone that comes in and has a reading with me will will get their little goodie bag, right? But I needed to get all of this stuff printed. And so I was trying to get this printed through FedEx over the course of probably like 4 days, or Kinko's, FedEx, Kinko's. It's like an in-person. You just self-service or full service print. You just go in and be like, oh, I need 7 copies of this, and they'll print it for you, right? Well, their website was down, and I literally tried it on probably 7 devices on my computer, a couple laptops, Chromebook. I tried it on my mobile. I tried it on Wi-Fi. I tried it on LTE. I tried it on my husband's stuff, and it was not working. And it just kept spitting out error, and it wasn't giving me like a specific error. It just kept spitting out error. And I remember back in the day, maybe even like 5, 7 years ago, I would have been like, the universe is telling me not to do this, right? So how many times do we like encounter these situations where we really, 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 really want to do something? Like in my case, doing this tarot party and getting ready for this tarot party. And do I need all of this stuff to do the tarot party? No, but it's what's going to make me feel good about my brand. It's going to make me feel confident. It's going to make me feel like I have my stuff together. Because there's nothing worse than in my opinion, than showing up to an event like that and feeling like you're just a total fraud. Right. Like, and it's not because you're a fraud. It's just because you don't have all the stuff that, your tools and your magical things that make you feel powerful and confident. And so I was like, no, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna get this done. So then I go to a different printer. So I go and meanwhile, I have spent probably at this point 3 hours uploading documents, trying different file types, trying different browsers. And each time I have to go through and proof everything and stuff like that, right? So we're talking, I'm probably already about three hours in of just trying to get this stuff uploaded and paid for so that it will get printed, because I can't just send it away, because it won't get here in time, right? Because most printers have like a 2-week notice. I'm like, I need to get this done. So I remember, in the past where I would have thought, all of this stuff is the universe telling me not to do this party. And I probably would have believed it. But how many times is the universe really sending us messages? And it's not even like a test, right? It's not even like, oh, well, if you want it bad enough, you'll do it. I think personally that sometimes, um, that it's malignant forces. Sometimes I think it's dark forces, or even, um, I even had this. I was like, sometimes I think it could be sent to us by other people. It could be like a hex or something like that, or a jinx or something like that. We work in a magical field. We piss off one witch, and a lot of witches are hex happy, right? And so sometimes then I think it's also like poltergeist activity with ourselves. Like we get so anxious, we get really, really anxious. And then I know when I get really anxious and like really charged up, my computer starts running slower. My, technology starts to kind of mess up and things like that. And so I'm like sitting there, having a full meltdown going, why is this not working? It's so hard to know when we are being redirected by God or just tested on how much we want something. Right. And so this was a big growth moment for me this week, I'm midst of meltdown, and I'm thinking, how can I magic how can I magic my way out of this? What do I need to do? So it's like, okay, first things first, I need to cleanse. So whenever I do that, or I need to do a return to sender. So right off the bat, I'm sitting here like, okay, I know I'm going to do this party. I know it's going to be a huge career opportunity for me. I know I like the people. I like the event. There's nothing about this that is making me feel like I don't want to do this. So obviously this is something that is being sent to me, right? So it could be like a hex, or it could be like poltergeist activity, or it could be anything. It could, you piss off the wrong fairies, and sometimes they'll kind of mess with your stuff and stuff like that. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but until you experience it, you're like, why is this not working? That's why I stopped telling people about what I was working on before I was ready to make it public. And that's a really good magical secret. That's a great magical secret, because, there's a fine line between having your hype crew, the witches and magical people around you that are going to help you manifest that thing and lend their energy to it and help you with that like thought form of belief that this is going to work out well, versus, some people are shady, and some people sometimes they do things like that, right? You just never know. And so one of the first, I was like, okay, first things first. So I sat down and closed my eyes and I said, All negative energy sent to me, I send it back to you times 3. And I said that over and over and over and over again until I felt like my energy, my aura could get a little bit bigger, right? Like I felt like, oh, my confidence was kind of coming back. Okay, I can take control of this situation. And so, you know what? And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a road opener. So I got just like a little orange candle, and I didn't even, and that's the thing about magic. Once you understand how magic really works and you're confident in your magic, you don't need excuse me, you don't need all of these like herbs and oils and crystals, and that kind of stuff. It helps because especially when your confidence in your belief is not very high, right? You're still kind of figuring out magic and how it works and how quickly it works for you and how potent your magic is and things like that. But once you become really like an adept person, it could be as simple as just like lighting an incense or lighting a candle, and that's it. Like that's the intention right there, and that's the prayer right there, and you become confident in that. So I just lit an orange candle and I was like, you know what? Let all roads be open to me and all obstacles be sent away, right? And so I lit that, and it was like one of those little chime ones. So I mean, they only burn for like 2 hours, right? Maybe 45 minutes depending on the quality of them. And so I was like, okay. So I go up there and I go in person, and my phone doesn't work. My phone is bricked. My phone doesn't work. I can't send them the documents. I can't upload anything. I can't get text messages. I can't send emails. So I'm like, okay, all right. So I go home, and I go home and I'm on the phone for 2 hours, 2 hours with support. For some reason, after the last iPhone update, all of the phones on my account, on my Verizon account, got knocked off the network. And we had to go through it and reset every single phone, taking the SIM card out, getting it off the network, putting it on. We don't know what happened, right? But like it just broke. So we get that done. Finally, 2 hours later, phones are working. I go back up there, no problems at all. I get in there, um, I tell them what I want, they print it right away for me. They're like, "Okay, it'll be about 15 minutes." And I was like, "Okay." And then so I walked out literally that day with all of my documents, walked out, went to Ross. I was freaking out because I needed to find some folding chairs, and I didn't want to pay $70 on Amazon. And I didn't want to go to Costco because I don't have a Costco account anymore. So I was like, and I couldn't find someone with a Costco account. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to pay $70 for these folding chairs. And then I also needed to get this bowl, right? I needed to get a bowl. And so I went up to Ross. Not only did I find my folding chairs for $12.99 a piece, I found this bowl for $5. So for less than $30, I walked out of Ross with every single thing on my list that I needed, and I had my documents that day. Did I have them right away? Did the magic work right away? No. I had to go back home and I had to deal with technical support for 2 hours on the phone. But after I was done with that, I walked in there, got my documents, went to Ross, got my chairs, got my bowl. And if it wasn't for my tenacity, if it wasn't for the fact that I decided, no, I really want this and nothing is going to stand in my way to manifest this, I wouldn't have been able to go, I wouldn't have been in the mood to go to Ross to get my tables. And, it still would have been Monday today. And I probably still wouldn't have had any documents, wouldn't have had any chairs, and I would have still been spiraling. Right. I agree. When we are so deeply desperate for things to get better and we feel the intensity of our desire in our heart, that's the most powerful magic we have. Some of the best work I've done is with my own tears, a dollar store candle, and olive oil from my kitchen. That is so right. That's so right. And so this is such a good example of how do we utilize our magic to solve world world problems. So my situation was that my external universe was not being conducive to this event, even though I knew in my heart this is what I truly wanted to do, and that it was going to happen. Whether I show up busted or I show up like I'm, the confident person that I truly am, either way, I was going to go. I was going to be there, and I'm glad that I can show up and feel like I've got everything, ready and I'm ready to go, and that's like the best feeling in the world. But I think when we are spiritual life coaches, because what we do, what is it that we actually do, right? So Yeah, we teach people to trust their intuition. Yeah, we teach people to have a connection with the natural universe and the elements within it. We teach people how to raise their personal power and to feel powerful. We teach people how to, hi, good morning, command our magic in order to change the world around us, right? We help people become confident in their skills, whatever that is, whether that's you're a psychic development coach and you're teaching people how to become confident in their psychic abilities, or you're a health and nutrition coach and you're teaching people how to become confident in their health and in their fitness. Whether you are a love and relationship coach and you're teaching people how to become confident in the dating scene or become confident in their relationships and in their journey towards self-love. So we're all teaching the same thing. It's just in what life area are we applying it to? It all kind of distills into these same core things, which is emotional regulation, right? That's through shadow work. And I would say if shadow work is not a really big part of the framework in which you coach from, if you don't use shadow work in any which way, shape, or form with your clients, that's a really big part of transitioning and shifting out of just being a reader or just being a fortune teller, just being a psychic, and then, shifting more into the spiritual coaching arena. And so when you get into that spiritual coaching, people want to see the life changes. That's why it's so different from, just doing a tarot reading. And I would say probably 70% of you out there are already doing the spiritual life coaching thing, even if you're just doing tarot readings or something like that. Because I think a lot of us go into this um, because we want to help people and we think that doing tarot readings is like the path that's going to get us there, and then we kind of realize, oh, it's not. Those people are, just tarot readings are, it's a big group, it's a big diverse group of people who buy tarot readings, but a lot of it is based on just lower vibrational questions, like, questions that are outside of the querent's power, right? Like, what do they think about me? What do they feel about me? What are their intentions towards me? Am I gonna get this job? Am I ever gonna get married? These types of questions. And not to say lower vibration is bad, because lower vibration is not bad, right? Higher vibration is not inherently good. It's just like an operating system, right? So it's the way in which you operate within the universe. What is your priority? Is your priority these baser things like relationships, sex, that sort of thing, or is it more altruistic? Like working on your spirituality, working on your intuitive skills to help people and things like that. So how focused are you on yourself versus how focused are you on helping other people? And it's interesting and it's funny because it's all about helping ourselves even when we're helping other people, and that's kind of like the duality of it that you kind of reach, when we were talking about going up and down the tree. If you don't remember that, that was like their second or third episode of this one, talking about going up and down the tree, right? So as we go up the tree, things become less tangible, right? They become more altruistic. They become more spiritual in nature, metaphysical in nature. So things like intuitive abilities are not really all that tangible, are they? We can't hold them, and we can't quantify them. We can't examine them. We can label and how they come to us, so we can label our experiences with them, and we can kind of quantify the information that we receive for them. But the intuitive abilities, I mean, it's something that's not really tangible. So it's really difficult to explain to people why they should even be working on their intuition to begin with, why they should be working on emotional regulation and emotional intelligence to begin with. And so when we think about it in that way, when we're marketing tarot readings, it's really easy because we're like, oh, well, you can find the answers that you want. And people typically will come to you with a question. So it's very like user driven. It's very querent driven. Like, okay, this person has a question or they have like an area of their life they want to look into. Okay, they get a reading. Well, when you're thinking about spiritual life coaching, it's a little bit more ethereal than that, right? It's a little bit more like what are the real benefits of this? Because if you think about it, if you think about yourself, even just a couple years ago, if you, let's say, okay, veterans aside, those people that have been doing this for 20 years, hold on just a second. But those people that have only been doing this for a couple years, remember the time in your life where you really needed a spiritual life coach, but you didn't even, one, know that it existed, two, that it was a legitimate thing, and three, you didn't understand how a spiritual life coach could even help you, right? Excuse me. And so when you're thinking about your marketing, when you're thinking about solving real world problems with your magic in your marketing, we have to kind of think, what is the tangible benefit from this? Like, yeah, we're doing all of this work in the spiritual realm. We're doing shadow work and we're doing self inquisition and we're doing emotional regulation and we're building our emotional intelligence and we're doing shadow work and we're reflecting and we're learning how to manage ourselves, manage our emotions, and from there it becomes that peace, that quiet that can kind of arise when that's when the real intuition and the real confidence kind of comes in, is when you have that inner peace where you've kind of dealt with these limiting beliefs, especially the ones we inherit, the ones that we get from society, the ones we get from culture, the ones that we get from our religion, the ones that we get from our parents. We're born into this world with, a rich inheritance of beliefs and values and things like that, that, may or may not actually be aligned with who we are as a person. So it's like the first half of our life is figuring out like what is true for us and what is not true for us. Right. And so that's that point where people really do need a spiritual life coach, but they may not know that it exists and they may not know how it can help and in what areas it can help. So, the best way I think to address this situation is to think about what would happen in someone's life should they start working with you. Okay. So, let's say it's valuable because it allows you to be independent. Yes, not trusting your intuition leaves us asking everyone else around us for permission in our life choices, or worse, asking Google. And this is why people will have the best of intentions. Our clients will have the best of intentions to make changes in their life, but nothing ever happens because they're ping ponging, between the next shiny object, right? Because they're not able to do that inner work, right? Because in the beginning, it's like magic. It's like, ooh, candles and herbs and correspondences and all these books and things like that and all these tools. Oh my gosh, wands and chalices and all these shiny things. And then we realize, yeah, we still have to actually do the magic, right? We can't just have the magical things around us. um, then you become an aesthetic witch, right? Which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to change things in your life, it's not really gonna, it's not gonna work. So so let's say, for example, and I think the easiest way to kind of talk about this is to just show you some examples, right? Because we can theorize about this all day, but and this is something I really specialize in because I've been working with people just like you and me for the last almost 15 years, and understanding demographics and buying and motivations of buying and purchasing and intentions and what actually gets people to enroll versus what what doesn't, right? So let's say you are a psychic development coach. All right. You specialize in helping people connect to their spirit team. So you specialize in things like angels and ancestors and extended masters and fairies and just power animals and things like that, spirit allies. And so you work with helping people connect to their ethereal realm, their angelic team or their spirit guides or something along those lines, right? Now, yeah, a lot of us will just stop there and be like, "Oh yeah, I'll help you connect to your spirit guides," because that's what, that's the buying motivation. Someone, this little person is walking around and they're on the internet and they're looking at, oh, they have this idea. I really want to know if I have a spirit guide. I really want to know how to connect to my spirit guide. So they're going on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, and they're like, how to connect to my spirit guide, right? And so you, luckily, if you've been paying attention to this entire podcast, have already started putting up some value-based educational content on YouTube that is, surrounding your niche. It's educational and it's kind of broad in general that kind of like gets people at least to you when they're looking online for specific search things. So, for example, looking for Google how to connect to my spirit guides, right? So, hopefully, you're going to have some kind of content that's going to have you relevant to that. Sorry, my camera is not focusing today. So, some kind of content that's relevant to that. Now, from there, okay, that's nice. Oh, okay. Well, you have to think about the buyer's mind. Okay, that's nice. I'm the buyer now. Like I'm the potential person. I'm the Googler now. Okay, well, that's nice. I can just subscribe to this person on YouTube and then I can just watch their videos later, and maybe I'll sign up for their email address or their email or a newsletter or something like that. And then, okay, instant gratification. I don't consumer, I don't have to solve this problem right now. I have these resources. That's good enough. I can move on with my day. That's the attention span that we're dealing with, right? As marketers, as people who have businesses. That's the that's the attention span. It's probably about 7 seconds long, right? So from there, what do we actually need to do? Well, we need to start making it more tangible for people. So, do people really want to connect to their spirit guides? Is that really what their heart of hearts' true desire is? No. What's their heart of heart desire? What do they actually want? Who knows? Who knows the answer to this question? What do they actually want? Who's brave enough? Quick fix to their issues? Well, that's kind of what they want right now, right? But what do they actually want? They want answers. They want to feel supported. Yeah. They want to feel supported, right? So how do we get to the heart of the heart of the heart, of what is really at the root of that? They want to feel spiritually supported, right? So that is a tangible benefit. What else? They want answers, yes, so they wanna be able to get their own answers on demand. Maybe they spend a lot of money on the psychic hotlines, or maybe they buy a lot of readings off Etsy, and they wanna be able to do their own readings for themselves. So what would be a good program to put together for that? Maybe how to use oracle cards to get answers from your spirit guides 101. Maybe that's, a 5 or 6-part course that you release. Validation. So they want validation. So what would getting validation mean for them? They're out in the world. They're going to their job. They've started communicating with their spirit guides. Let's say there's a promotion coming up at work and they're a nurse. There's a promotion coming up at work where they're going to be like the head nurse of the floor. Okay. And they're like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I don't know if I should go for this. I wish I had a sign. I wish I could get a sign that would tell me that everything was okay and that the God, universe, angels, ancestors, that they all support me and validate me going after this promotion. So, what would be a tangible offering? What could be a course or a program or an ebook that you could write that would solve people's problems in that area? Maybe an ebook that contains angel numbers. Yes. Or maybe an ebook that contains like top 20 psychic signs and their meanings. How to hear your angels. Very good. You guys are all very smart. Very, very smart. Okay. Does this make sense? Does it make sense how we need to go beyond just what people are looking for and get to their heart's desire and really truly understand what it is that they're wanting out of this experience? Because it's not just that they want to talk to their spirit team or have a relationship, but what does that encompass and what does that mean, right? And what might that look like in the real world? Thinking about your ideal client avatar. Think about your potential client. Think about a random person out there that is walking around this universe needing you, needing your services, needing your help and your education and your wisdom and your experience and your support for them and what is going on in their universe, what is going on in their world, even in the smallest degree, what is going on with them and how what kind of practical application can we offer for the people beyond just how to connect to your spirit guides. Okay, let's do another one. All right. And then I'll let you guys go for the week. Let's say you are let's say you are a love and relationship tarot reader. And right now you specialize in, what do they feel about me? What do they think about me? All that kind of stuff. And are you're looking to expand and you're looking to create something a little bit more substantial. Let's say you're looking to create a program or a course or something along those lines, or a life group program or something like that. And you really want to figure out, okay, how can I really help people? And because a lot of you are great at coming up with like the syllabus as far as like the spiritual component of it, and then the course itself is amazing, but then you don't get anybody signing up because you haven't identified in your marketing, on your sales page, what are some real life tangible ways of which this course can help them. Okay. So let's say you specialize in helping people manifest their soulmate. Okay. That's your tagline, helping people manifest their soulmate. All right. So people are going on Google and you're like, okay, what is a soulmate? How do I know if I've met my soulmate? What are some signs that I've met my soulmate? So hopefully you've already taken care of all of that, right? You have those videos, those educational videos on there. So that's the connection point, right? That gets you and them and it builds a bridge. But now you want to create something a little bit more interactive and practical. So you want to create a program, a course, and let's say you have let's just say you're doing a brainstorm and you're like, okay, well, I want to work with someone who's maybe in their 40s, maybe 50s, maybe they have because you kind of want to think about like, okay, who do I really like to work with? And then quantifying that demographic. A couple episodes ago, we talked about demographics. Okay. So if you've missed that episode, go back. All of these episodes are going to build on one another. They're all going to lead to the next logical place. Okay. So if you haven't watched those, you might want to go back and watch them. So getting to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I really like working in the 40s and 50s crowd. That seems to be like my jam. I really like those people. Let's say I want to work with people who are divorced and are looking to try again, right? So they're divorced. They still want to find love out there, and maybe they're having issues because they're a professional person and so they don't have a lot of time, or they spend a lot of time working, or they can't really, they don't have a lot of free time to go around to dating events and doing like matchmaking and things like that. So they want to do some things kind of like on their own that would help them manifest their potential soulmate. So what are some things? What are some programs or courses or ebooks or live group programs that you could run that would be a practical application of where this person is at in their journey while also still being your ideal client avatar? Who's got some ideas? How about an ebook on how to get the very most out of every single date? Like how to I would do something maybe like a checklist of like questions to the most important, like helping people understand like their most important questions that they want to ask during dates. Maybe like an intuitive exercise where they can kind of go within and kind of meditate a little bit and get an intuitive reading off of this person. So maybe going beyond just like the logical side, but like even teaching people how to like connect to the energy of their potential date so they can get an even deeper they can go even deeper in their feeling or their intuition about this person. Discovering your love language quiz. So like figuring out, like, that's a really good one. So like figuring out like how do you even like to be loved? Right? What is your love language? Are do you what makes you feel loved and supported? Is it gifts? Is it service? Is it touch? Is it emotional support? Like what are all these things that are super important to this person to identify who's going to be a waste of time and who's going to be a good candidate, right? Because their crunch is that they don't have a lot of time, right? They're a professional, they're out there, they're networking, they're doing professional things. Maybe they travel for work a lot, that sort of thing. Their job is very demanding. So they need to be able to quickly identify, is this person a match or is this person not a match? So that they're not spending a lot of time, right? Good job. Anybody else have any ideas? Anybody else have any ideas? Okay, so while I'm waiting on that, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what's coming up over the next couple weeks here, because I think there was some confusion about the upcoming event. So we're gonna continue to finish this season one podcast. All right, we're doing 12 episodes on this. We are on episode 10. So we have two more episodes, and so we're going to be doing the next two episodes are going to be episode 11 is going to be how to navigate social media as a business platform, like like what are some boundaries that are really good, how to set office hours, that sort of thing. We're going to talk about that. How often should you be posting, what kind of content should you be posting, that sort of thing. The next one is going to be the power of testimonials and client reviews. So I'm going to teach you how to actually get reviews out of people and what makes good reviews, which is versus what is not a good review. And oh, an astrology chart for each and a comparison made for the pair if they've already met, or an in-depth analysis of your client's chart to support that person on finding an ideal match. Yeah. And you could even maybe even do something from there where it's like an ebook about like the top 10 most compatible sun signs. 10 questions to ask your partner before you become official. Yeah. You guys see, you get it. You get it. You're very good. Very good. So we're going to finish that. We're going to finish the season one of this podcast. Then we're going to take a break. All right. And then we'll come back later in the year, probably summer, and do a season two of this podcast. I haven't quite figured out exactly what it's going to be about, but it's going to be obviously building on things that we've already talked about. Now, starting March 4th, I'm going to be starting a new series. It will not be live in the group. It will be on YouTube. It's going to be a YouTube exclusive, and I'm doing it this way because there's going to be 22 videos that I need to get out really quickly. And if I do this live, then I'm going to be here for like an hour on every single video, and I can't do that. And also, you guys don't want to watch a whole hour on one card. I mean, that doesn't make any sense, right? So I'm going to do a new series. It's called The Major Arcana Tarot Card Meetings for Spiritual Life Coaching. And what it is going to be a look at the major arcana. We're going to stick with the major arcana first because I'm going to break it up. So I'm going to do the major arcana and then I'll do like um cups, swords, wands, pentacles, right? My brain. All right. So you would well, and then there's gonna be some other videos that we kinda gotta talk about because I gotta get everybody up to speed on, like, the fact that, the hero's journey is actually the Fool going through the 21 keys, and the Fool can actually also be a key itself. It's kind of complicated, but, there's a couple prerequisite videos that we need to get up first just to kind of get everybody on the same page about how that's kind of going. But it's gonna be, a series that I'm putting together because you guys have been asking me to do tarot card meetings for, like, ever. And my Lenormand videos are actually still probably my most watched videos. So I know there's a lot of you out there that would love to, you know, get some additional meanings for tarot cards, but mainly through the lens of spiritual life coaching. What does it mean in more of like a practical day-to-day kind of situation? And then we're also going to focus on primarily the upright meaning and then the reversed meaning. So we're going to focus on those. Yeah, and they're just kinda nice, it's just kinda nice to know the meanings because then, you get stuck during the spiritual life coaching session or your client's like, can you just pull a card?" Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes I have people that are like, we'll go through the whole spiritual life coaching session, won't use any tools or anything like that, and you're like, could you just pull a card for me?" And I'm like, "Yes, okay." And so then you'll have that, and it's just a nice thing to be able to transition away from like the more fortune telling kind of, meanings of the cards and go more towards like a spiritual journey and like, basing certain coaching questions on whether the card is upright or the card is reversed and it's whether it's in the past position, whether it's in the current position, the future position, that sort of thing. So that is my goal, and we're going to do that for the 22 majors. And then we'll probably kick back over to the podcast. And then from there, then I'll do more. But I'm pretty sure that this tarot card meetings course, it's gonna be free. It's on YouTube. It's gonna be free for a limit for, however long I decide to put it on for free anyway. But it's gonna take a little while. It's probably gonna take us a year to get through it. So, but it's gonna be good, and that will be, something that you guys have been really wanting for a while. It'll give me I'll be able to take a break from doing like the business trainings because I have to talk about magic at some point. Otherwise it just gets too boring. I don't want to talk about business every single day. So we'll do the tarot card meetings and then we'll kind of go back to it. Yeah, I can't wait for that. That's kind of what I'm working on. Great. Have you got your own tarot cards for us to buy? I don't have tarot cards, but I have several Lenormand decks. I'll give you guys the link. It's on makeplayingcards.com/sell/ the profitable psychic, I believe. Uh, I want to do readings in 2 days and both wanting to know how to lose weight. So, hey, can you answer that with tarot cards? And the answer is yes, you can. So I'll be very, very excited to kind of help you expand on your meetings and just kind of, see how you can transition to be a little bit more of a spiritual coach rather than just a reader. Nothing wrong with being just a reader, but you can do so much more, and I know that you guys can, and you can help people in such a more profound way than what you're doing right now. And you can get paid so much more money to do it. And that's the crazy thing is that it's all good. There's no negative to it, right? Thank you. Yeah, I'll get you guys my link for my Lenormand decks. My Lenormand decks are basically set up to work on the psychic hotlines. And so I have one that's for health. I have one that is for love and relationships. And then I have one that is for like just a training wheels kind of deck. It's called the Lucky Clover Lenormand. It's kind of got like I released it on St. Patrick's Day probably like 5 years ago. So that's why it's got the clover. And clover is a really big symbol for Lenormand. And so, Clover is probably my favorite card out of the whole Lenormand deck. Stars is also one of my favorites, but Clover is probably my favorite deck. Amazing. So you're on the right path. You're on the right path. Okay, so we will see each other next Monday. I hope you guys have a great week. I really hope you guys think about what was said today and think about, every time you go to sit down to write a sales page or every time you go to put an offer out there, I just want you guys to ask yourself, what is the true desire? What is this potential person reading? What is their true heart's desire? You know, and trying to just get more authentic with it. And I think the more that you can distill it down further and further, and further, you're going to get to the heart of marketing. And marketing is just helping people buy, right? Thank you, my magical marketing maven. Thank you. You always bring such real world value. I appreciate you and all your encouragement. I appreciate you guys too. Thanks for making my day. I love you all. I will see you next week.